Hey, what's up YouTube? This is We All Juggle Knives with a review of the Tops Knives Lion's Toothpick. Yes, this is 1095 high carbon steel. The blade length is 4 inches. It's got micarta handle scales, and that lanyard is something I added. It's a paracord lanyard, and you'll see why later in the video. Notice how slim and pointed this is. This thing's job is to pierce. Alright, now it is sharp, but it's also a thick knife. It has to be durable. So it's not going to slice through like a kitchen knife. It's not meant to be a kitchen knife. It's for close combat. There you see the knife in hand, super pointed for piercing. It's got a full tang, true full tang, thick micarta handle scales. And because they are thick, they really do add to the grip. You see it has a finger groove, and it's got some jimping on a thumb rest there. And you can see from the spine how thick this is, right? It has a gray coating to make it non-reflective, except for the edge. Now the price tag on this is around $80, and you might say, oh, $80 for a shank, but the type of people who need this will be more than willing to pay that because, well, who does need this? Well, I knew a guy who was in a marine assault company, and I think he was in Fallujah or one of those hellholes, and long story short, house to house, room to room, he actually found himself in hand to hand. And he's alive, the other guy's dead because, well, the Marine had a knife on him. There you see the Kydex sheath. It holds it in securely. Right, it's got that buckle, or belt clip I should say, and it rotates. But it rotates slowly. It's not going to spin freely. You have to decisively push it. So you got vertical or horizontal carry with this. It comes with that signal whistle. All right, and the knife basically locks in like so. Right, so it's a pretty good sheath. I really like the rotating belt clip. I have a couple other Tops knives that have that. All right, plenty of stab testing here. Now, first of all, I'm testing the grip, but I'm also testing how well the knife holds up. Now, it's a fairly thick knife. Obviously, it's not going to snap in half, but if you want to rely on this, you just want to make sure. And of course, how well the tip will hold up, right? Because it's like a hypodermic needle at the end of that tip. I mean, very pointed. Now, I don't pull my punches when I'm doing a stab test, so I do have some safety precautions. First of all, I have my butcher's glove, which is made of a Kevlar-like material that resists being cut. I also have a lanyard on the knife, which is perfectly sized to prevent the knife from slipping through my grip, even if I were to lose my grip. The lanyard is just regular paracord. It is strong but not unbreakable, but it does also allow you to add more force to the strikes, and it makes it very difficult to disarm you. A lanyard is always good, but the question is, will you have enough time to put the lanyard on? You know, that's up to you. It really all depends on what situation you think you're going to be in. Of course, you can just grab it over the lanyard or just quickly put 2 fingers through it. So it's not the end of the world if you can't perfectly fit your hand through it, if you don't have time, if it's a sudden attack. Just don't leave it dangling because it could be grabbed, right? And if you don't have enough practice to fit it quickly, well then just don't use a lanyard. But as you saw, this knife can be used reverse grip, edge in, edge out, hammer grip, pretty much any grip from any system. You know, you shouldn't decide based on system, okay? You should decide based on the strike you need, matching up with the opening that presents itself. Now, 4 inches is a great and useful length for this type of knife. I think I can tell you what the designer was thinking, because I thought this too. Usually you need a minimum of 3 inches to reach vitals on most parts of the human body, you know, aside from the eyeball and things like that. So 3 inches minimum. So why not add an extra inch to be that much more sure? Because likely combatants will probably be large people, maybe fat, maybe muscular. They might be wearing extra clothing. If it's a military scenario, there might be some military web gear you have to stab through, right? So 3 inches to reach the vitals, an extra inch added to be just that much more sure. But yet if they added more length to it, it would become more difficult to easily carry and conceal, right? So 4 inches is kind of a perfect compromise for the mission of this type of knife. So this really has a lot of features that make it worth it. First of all, good sheath. It allows for horizontal or vertical carry, or diagonal if you really wanted to, and easy shifting between those in the field. The handle is excellent. It allows any grip you would want to use. The thickness of the handle scales improves the grip, and the fact that it's a full 4-finger handle, right, which allows you to use that lanyard trick, it's a good handle. The blade shape is perfect for piercing, and the blade is thick enough that it can withstand tremendous amount of force. I did notice like the last 0.5 millimeter of the tip did bend a tiny bit after I stabbed this like 200 times full force into hard wood, but I just repaired it in about 10 seconds with a metal file. And this is the repaired knife, so you can imagine how pointed this was when it was new. But even after that repair, it's still super pointed, so don't panic if, like, you know, the last molecule of the tip were to bend if you stab this into something harder than, you know, the enemy combatant. But yeah, this is an epic knife for its purpose. I mean, of all the shank-like objects that I've reviewed, this has got to be in my top 5. This is one of my favorites. I mean, most of us are not in a marine assault company, so thankfully we might not have to get into hand-to-hand. But this day and age, you know, with crime the way it is, it can happen to anyone, and hopefully you have a gun and this, or if you can't have a gun, an arsenal including this. I hope you enjoyed seeing this blade. If you want to pick one up, I'll include an Amazon link. Alright, this has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.